Canadian TV and on US TV, the fun factor is not very high. So if TNT change it and want to have some fun, that would be great.
Mac, before we get into any discussion about who's going to win the Norris Trophy, you got to be ecstatic now that you heard that Turner Sports now is entering the broadcasting world. That gives you a bidding war between ESPN and Turner for your services next season.
I could give a shit who gets the TV rights. To be quite honest. I could care less.
Would you just go with? Can you roll with me a little bit on sometimes?
I've talked to like 5 or 6 TV people in the last 2 days, and everybody's going to work for TNT. Everybody, they're all getting jobs there.
Everybody.
And I thought, oh my God, is it ever nice that I don't have to worry about that junk anymore?
No, Mac. Every time you think you're out, they pull you back in, man.
No, it's okay.
I was surprised, and I'd be interested.
The only way I'm getting in is if Gord Cutler and Scott Moore get a job at TNT.
I would think Turner and ESPN be watching the last little while and go, we got to stay away from that Doug McLean, man.
You're the Charles Barkley of hockey commentary.
We don't need him free riding that attitude on our programs.
Exactly.
Are you not surprised? And it'd be interesting to hear some of the comments from the listeners here that NBC, which Mac I thought did a really terrific job over the last little while. Their set looked fantastic. Watching key games, they weren't disappearing 30 seconds after the game was over. They stuck with it. They showed the game. They showed the league. They showed stars a ton of respect here. I'm just surprised that they would let it go that easily after a 10-year investment.
Didn't they get rid of the plans are to get out of NBC Sports Net?
Yeah, there was,
which would put a real. Where would they put the games? That would be the number one challenge, I guess. But I'm sure they have avenues. But yeah, it surprised me a little bit, to be quite honest, that they moved out of it. Obviously, they didn't want to pay, and it's funny. I played golf this morning with a former NFL referee. And he said it again. He said, what is the NHL? They're getting peanuts for these TV deals. Yeah. And I said, well, I don't know. I said, well, they go, NFL cleans up. What do they get? $1 billion to billions? And then
I think NBC's paying Jordan, if I'm not mistaken, maybe, NBC's paying the NFL alone $2 billion a year.
I do know that NBC has been going through some general restructuring with their content, especially live content, with their streaming platform called Peacock. They recently did a huge deal with the WWE network to broadcast WrestleMania on there instead of the WWE's proprietary app. So all this stuff gets very confusing and stuff like that. I'll get the exact number for you now.
So what does the NHL get, Nick, for their TV deals with everything all in? What do they get?
Well, we believe that ESPN came in a little over $400 million, Mac. The number I heard was 410. Then you factor in the Turner at 2+. So the NHL was coming off a 10-year commitment at $200 million per year.
And now it's 600.
And it's tripled. So
600 plus the Canadian deal, which
the Canadian would work out to roughly 400 US on average, maybe.
So you're $1 billion for the total TV package divided by 31 teams.
Which, again, while we all love our sport, we all love the NHL. If you want to think of it as a top 4 along the side, the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. I think it shows you where the gap is.
So every team gets roughly $30 million from national deals plus their local deal, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my last year in Columbus, which was a peak year for us on TV, including the national deal and the local deal, if I'm not mistaken, we are right around between 7 and 8 million is what we got.
Yeah.
Nothing from NBC because it was just, they had us for nothing. And I think we're getting $1.5 million from Hockey Night in Canada. And then we were getting $4 million from ESPN, I believe, prior to that. So we came in with everything around 8 or 9, between 7 and 9 million. I'm not sure what it was. And now it's 30 plus their local deal. So some teams are doing 40, 50 plus. Like a team like Columbus is probably doing 40 million on TV in revenue.
I think that sounds like a good number, but when I compare it to other leagues, it's loose change in the couch.
Yeah, so for NBC alone, starting in 2023, 10-year deal, $2 billion just from NBC. Most of the other companies are around 2.1, 2.5, and that's CBS, ESPN, Fox, etc.
Yeah.
I do know, I think in the late 80s, Mac, when you compared TV money for the NHL and the NBA, it was rather comparable, I think. Although NBC probably was always ahead of the NHL, but it certainly, the gap wasn't what it is today. So I think, I don't know, for the most part, you would think, Mac, that NHL owners would be happy going from 200 million to 600 million plus.
Oh yeah, for sure they would be.
Over the last 10 years. But it's hard when you watch what's going on in other sports and you're eating dust off of those deals.
So let's say that the average team is getting 40 million. And so 20 million to the players and 20 million to the team, but it all just goes into the regular revenue and it's 50-50 split.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I think
so. It's a good deal for the players too.
I think they can find you some role down there, Mac. You'll like Atlanta or Bristol, Connecticut. Very close to Florida.
Yeah. I remember I interviewed in Bristol for when Barry Melrose became coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I went in and interviewed for Melrose's job at the time. And I was interviewing at Sportsnet at the same time. And Sportsnet came with their offer first, and I jumped at it. And I don't know I forget who got the Melrose job. Was it Barnaby? Maybe Matt Barnaby got it at that time.
Well, Barnaby was certainly yes, ESPN guy.
Yeah, and then Barry Melrose lasted 8 games coaching, and then they always wanted him back. So now is Barry going to be the lead analyst for ESPN?
I would assume he'd have a role there, and
significant role.
They got some great hockey people down there. The only question I ask you is, do you think they make him get a haircut and a new suit?
At least one that fits him.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
Tell Barry that at least he's got to get it tapered if he's going to be on.
Well, exciting time south of the border, at least from where I'm sitting, in terms of what hockey's going to look like, whether it's coming from your traditional way, the television or live streaming. But pretty exciting times for NHL fans south of the border. Okay, now, Mac.
And exciting for all the unemployed. Everybody's applying. So the analysts for teams, the analysts here, the analysts there. I mean, just the people at Rogers that'll let go. They'd be packed in on interviews just with that group.
I'm gonna be your agent. I'm calling them right now, and I'm gonna get them on both at the same time, Turner and ESPN. And I'm just going to say, Doug McLean, who wants him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crickets.
Um,
Crickets.
I hope I don't get the silence that I just got 2 seconds ago.
Because he doesn't want them. So who wants him?
Can we get a prediction from you guys for TNT? That's what I'm the most focused on right now. I think TNT has the most upside to really change the way people watch hockey in the United States. I mean, TNT's basketball product is just so much better than anyone else. Period.
They are fun though, but the personalities are fun, and it's led, of course, by Shaq and Barkley. They're just fun guys to be around. So I don't know if you ever saw it, Jordan, but I taught Charles Barkley how to take a wrist shot on Hockey Night in Canada. Did you ever find that on the internet?
I haven't. I'll have to take a look at that. If it's anything like his golf swing, I'm sure it went great.
Well, that's the first thing I said. I said, you know, we got to end this segment right now if your wrist shot's going to look anything like your golf swing. So he had a good chuckle at that, but it was fantastic. It was me. Our host at the time was George Strombolopoulos, and he's just a breath of fresh air, man. He's just he'll tell you what he's thinking. He's got a wonderful sense of humor. And at the time, I don't know if you remember this, but he was just bored out of his mind with his NBA playoffs. And I think he even said on air, man, I'm more into the NHL hockey right now than I am watching my own sport. And he had come up to Toronto to catch a game or two at the Air Canada. I think the Raptors were still involved, of course, but he was all over the hockey at the time. And yeah, I think Turner and TNT, they're going to do a great job. They understand the element of entertainment, informative, engaging personalities. That's where it still is at, Mac, and that's why I have you. I mean, it's not informative out of you. It's entertaining.
Well, I'll tell you what. watching the games right now, watching the hockey productions now on Canadian TV and on US TV, the fun factor is not very high. So if TNT change it and want to have some fun, that would be great. That would be great.
I will defend it a little bit in Canadian television, Mac, and for no other reason that the stress value has been there in the last couple of years, Mac, that we never saw.
Oh yeah,
in a large portion of the television that I've done up here, and unfortunately, sometimes it shows.
Yeah, it sure does. But anyway, that's fine. I don't blame them, and it's like, don't laugh too hard. Whatever you do, be serious. It's such a serious game.